Firstly, I have to say a big thank you to this man for jumping on board with us here at SimRacing Unlimited. It is the man, the myth, the legend. It is the always positive Jardier. Jardier, thank you very much for joining me, buddy. How are you doing?
Hey, Alex, thank you so much. I'm great. Thank you.
Now, there's a lot of things that happen within sim racing. There's, of course, getting on the sim, training away, but we wanted to tackle one particular aspect that isn't really touched on that often, Jardier, and it's the mental aspect of sim racing. You know, you're going through, you know, you're spending a lot of time in the gym, you're spending a lot of time on your streams. I mean, firstly, the mental aspect of sim racing, when you're doing, like, say, a stream, like, say, for LFM, for instance, on Assetto Corsa Competizione, you're not only competing on the sim, you're also communicating with the members of the Jardier community. You're also talking to your friends on Discord through a server. My first question is, how, from a mental aspect, is it how taxing is it for you as a driver?
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why my streams are a bit shorter than usual. I know I don't know, I watch some other Twitch streamers, for example, playing gaming, and they literally stream for like 12 hours straight in some, I don't know, Rust or Counter-Strike and stuff like that. And I think with the energy I have been like trying to create with my streams, that I'm like allowed to stream like, let's say, 3-hour streams average approximately. And that's, I feel like, a limit where after you can see the energy and everything just fading, you know, because it's like, I think it's like, I have no problem with like communicating, doing like a multitasking, as you said, because I'm sim racing for a long time, and I love streaming and I love communicating with the people, and just like, that's basically like I don't know, like a branding of my channel, I would say.
Yeah.
And obviously it takes a lot of energy, and as you said, like the mental aspect is obviously there as well. So that's why I'm trying to like to limit the streams a bit in like a shorter aspect. And I think I kind of like create my, like, let's say, brand or channel around it, because I see a lot of sim racers or a lot of other people who are also doing streaming, but they are streaming 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours as well. But because of this like amount of the energy we put into the like streams and such, I'm like allowed to do like, let's say, single race, basically do 2-hour stream, but and it's like I don't know, watching like a Netflix show or something in the end, you know. So I kind of like it, yeah. But obviously, like as you said, it's like it's exhausting sometimes. It's like, I would say, like even physically and also mentally, because sometimes like after the stream, my girlfriend is like, she want to talk with me, and I'm like, please, I just want to like silence, you know, like I just don't want to talk, you know, for the next few hours, because I'm just like done, you know.
Yeah, like you say, it can take a lot out of you. And of course, for those that don't already know, that Jardier has competed in real life racing up until I think it was the mid 2000s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
How much of the, you know, because that's just as mentally draining, but you know, when you've got all those visceral sights and sounds around you, like say the noise of the engine, what the car's doing underneath you, you're basically in a cocoon. So whatever, if it's like 30 degrees air ambient temperature, it's like 50, 60 degrees in the car. How much of the real life racing experience has transferred over in terms of a mental aspect to your sim racing?
I would say everything. I think like obviously the real racing, like you can say real racing is different to sim racing because you don't have the fear, you don't have the G-forces and such. But the racing itself, like what you have to do, you know, how you have to focus, how you have to be mentally prepared, how you have to drive itself, and everything is exactly the same. You know, that's why I think the sim racing is like a perfect tool for practicing for real racing, and the other way around as well. I think it's like fantastic. I think David Perel was writing that on somewhere on Twitter when he said that sim racing is for real racing drivers like a treadmill for runners, basically. You know, and you have to always like work out and work on this as well. And I think sim racing is really getting there, first of all, finally, after so many years. And it's getting more known in this. And yeah, I personally, like, everything I would do in a real race car, I'm doing in the sim racing, and the other way around. And especially the mental preparation is like, the focus and everything is exactly the same.
I mean, with regards to, say, spending hours on a sim training, because obviously you've got to have that within your schedule. Are there any sort of like are there any sort of particular tricks that you've used without giving too much, you know, don't want to give Jardier's inner secrets out, but are there any particular bits of advice that you could give to drivers that are starting off as sim racers, how they can sort of just like focus, concentrate, be in the zone a little bit. What's the best sort of like beginner advice that you could give?
Oof, this is a hard question. It's
That's
so hard because
the whole
like
point of this conversation. But I mean,
I think
what tips could you give Jardio?
I feel like first of all, I always say like work on a consistency. Don't worry about too much about the lap times. You know, like if you're like overshooting the corners, braking late, going off the tracks, I would just like don't worry about the lap time and just do laps. Try to be consistent and slowly improve. And also, I would like to. I think it's very important to be like a safe environment as well, so you don't
Yeah.
have too many distractions around you. You know, if your kid is running around or your dog is running around, your wife screaming at you all the time, you will not be able to focus very well. So I think it's important to find maybe some time of the day that works best for you as well. Like some people go to gym at 9 a.m. in the morning. Maybe for you, it's going to be better if you are starting and want to practice. It might be good to do like an hour, for example, before the work or right after the work, and just take it easy in this. I really think like a lot of people are just focusing on the lap times and stuff like that. And because of that, they are making a lot of mistakes. And for me, it's always worked. The consistency was always the most important. And I think that's something people should work on very much, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think from a mental aspect as well, I mean, like you say, no distractions. Social media, a big distraction at the moment for a lot of people. There is, unfortunately, and this has been happening time and time again, there's been a lot of toxicity which can actually affect people's mental health stability. It's happened to me in previous times. There's been a lot of things happening on that. But you are always Mr. Positivity. Whenever I've watched one of your streams, you're always smiling. You know, you're always having a laugh. I mean, even I think because you've got a wonderful dog as well, who's the apple of your eye, so to speak. I mean, it's great to have like from a mental aspect to when you got off the sim, you know, have a little chill time, go for a walk with the dog or whatever.
Yeah.
There's always those little sort of like key points where you can think, right, I've done 3 hours on the sim. I'm absolutely shattered. Now it's time, as you say, to, like when you've done a stream and your girlfriend wants to have a chat and you're like, no, I just need to sort of like calm it down because your heart rate is quite heavily accelerated. And also the mental taxation comes part and parcel of that. You know, it's always key to have those focal points where, you know, right, that's my sim rig is my happy place, but there's also my chill out place, isn't there?
Yes. That's exactly what you just answered for me, because like obviously as every other person in the world, like I'm fighting depressions, I'm fighting negativity and fighting all the problems around, you know. I'm like, obviously I'm a happy person, but as everybody, I have a bad days, you know. I can have a fight with my girlfriend, you know, we can be screaming at each other, and I can be pissed and I don't want to talk to anybody and stuff like that. But exactly as you said, like I take my rig as my happy place. It's like I basically take it like a safe environment that I know that it's like playing like an MMO game or something where you are like role playing, right? So I take basically the sim racing in a very similar way, that I basically go to my rig and I'm acting like a racing driver, and this is my happy place. I want to race no matter what will happen. I will have good time, and it's gonna take my head away from the problems, paying bills, you know, and and stuff like that, you know, and I know that's like a safe place for me. So that's why I think it's always like a happy place for me, because that's why I'm always like happy about it, because I always know, I don't know how to put this very correctly, but I feel like I know there's I know there's like worse thing happening and worse stuff happening to me, to people, to my family, to people all around the world, everywhere. So I don't need to put it on my sim rig as well, you know.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know, I can get obviously angry, I can have a bad race, I can have a bad stream or something like that, but at the same time I'm always trying to like understand that, like, first of all, when I turn off the race or turn off the stream, I just turn off and I'm like focusing on something else, and as you said, walk my dog, go read a book or watch some TV show, whatever, and or just keep it like that, you know. So I think it's massively important to understand like several things, so you can take the burden off of yourself You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so hard to describe, you know, like the ego
Yeah.
is there. But I mean, I don't know. I always like, yeah, I feel like, you know, some people take it like, obviously I take sim racing massively seriously. For me, it's like all about emotion. That's as well as my channel, like all about emotions. You can be angry, you can be happy and everything around that. But at the same time, you have to also understand that after you turn it off, that like it's fine, you know, it's all good. So yeah.
I think also the mental and the physical side, you know, you've been doing a lot of training in the gym. You know,
I just started to
well,
be fair, so like
you'd be doing some training in the gym, and that obviously, you know, the getting, you know, losing weight also helps with the mental clarity and the mental
Mhm.
focus when it comes to streams, doesn't it?
Yeah, I must say I mean I in my basically my whole life I'm having problem with the weight. Like I was super skinny until like 14, then I was obese, then I was skinny again, and then I was like massively obese, and then I lost like 40 kilos. And in the past 5 years, I gained 50, like 40 kilos again. So I'm like always going up and down. And I always remember like when I was like 5 years ago, when I was like 90 kilos, I was like so much happier than like when I got more obese and stuff like that, because it obviously helps as well. But what really helped me now is I really like I was trying to get into the work. I knew that I need to lose the weight. I knew
Yeah.
that I need to lose some habits. Like I was drinking Coca-Cola massively, like 3 liters per day and stuff like that. And I basically stopped last year in September, and it already helped me so much when I did that. And then I was on a vacation like 2 months ago, and I was just like, we were just sitting by the pool, and I was like, so not happy with myself. You know, I was like, I know what I want to look like.
Mhm.
I know I want to like represent myself a little bit better, and plus health. You know, because I'm obviously as everybody else, I'm having health issues in certain ways. So I was like, okay, I need to do something about it. And I found a trainer. I went into the gym, and it's just insane. Like I'm going for like a month, and the progress and the happiness it's just incredible. And what is just insane, like what works for me really great, I had like for example, a really bad morning. I woke up and I was supposed to fly to London. They got canceled, so I couldn't go. And I was like so pissed, you know. And I went to the gym. I told my trainer, I need you to give me hell to get it out from me, you know. And I really like, for 1 hour you're just working out so hard. And I was going home and I was so happy, you know. I was like, oh my god, I feel so great physically, you know, like tired physically, but great at the same time. And it just like, I don't know, it just pushes all the burden away, I feel
Mhm.
like, you know.
Yeah, it sort of gets all that all that aggression and those bad malicious
Yes.
thoughts out of your head, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you know, I think the thing is that with regards to the mental aspect of setting up a stream is a lot
Mhm.
easier said than done. And I'm absolutely in awe. Whenever like literally when we've been, you know, when I've been watching your streams or other people, like I think the good thing is that the other thing from a mental aspect is the positivity from the Jardier community when they're on your streams is something that also helps you as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, this I had like a really amazing guy who came to me at Spa. He came to me and he said like, your streams helped me so much during the COVID. I was like really depressed and everything, and this really kept me going. And I was like, we hug each other, and I told him like, dude, this is exactly what goes both ways, you know. Like
Mhm.
basically the support you guys give me helps me to fight the depression exactly the same way. So it's like, it's like being in a relationship, you know, when you're like pushing each other, helping each other. So this
Yeah.
is like what my streams are basically for me, like I don't know, going to doctor or something, you know. It just helps me so much in this as well, you know. Like it's incredible. Like obviously I'm super happy that people take it as help, but they have no idea how much it helps me at the same time, you know.
I think that's also another key point with the mental aspects. I mean, the pandemic took a lot out of everybody. You know, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in a funk for a week. I was like, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was just like thinking, oh bugger, what's going on with the rest of the year? But that was the main concern. And then I was like getting up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, going to bed at 4 in the morning, not having a
Mhm.
great time. But then, of course, getting involved with the sim racing community, being a commentator, you know, it's been really, really good. But I think also the fact that with obviously you being invited to the Spa 24 Hours by Fanatec and getting to catch up with people that you've raced against, you know, like the likes of Tonitz, you know, everyone within the ACC community.
Yeah.
It's great to see that now that we're able to all meet up in person. And I think from the mental aspect, that's also another positive turn for the sim racing community, wouldn't you say, Jardio?
100%, like 100%. I personally was like basically locked for 2.5 years. You know, I haven't been anywhere. I was like once for 2 days in Italy in the past 2.5 years, and otherwise I haven't seen my friends. I obviously haven't seen family for so long. It was so depressing, right at the beginning of the COVID, especially. And then obviously, as you said, like meeting people at Spa and such was just so refreshing, because we obviously know each other, or even I saw several people already like 3-4 years ago, and then we couldn't see each other properly or travel and such. And now it was finally able to happen. And also it was nice because it was basically like a first time in ACC where we could meet other people, because the ACC grew up so much in the past 2 and 3 years during the pandemic and such. And it was lovely to see, as you said, like all the drivers, you know, my teammates from the team finally, and stuff like that. It was so refreshing. I was like so hyped, and also so motivated when I get home, you know, because it was like the shock of the reality like finally hit me, because when I'm streaming I can see like, I don't know, 500 600 people in the chat, or the viewers and such, but when you meet them in a person, it's completely different story.
Jardio, thank you very much for your time, buddy. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and we look forward to hopefully catching up with you soon.
Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you for having me.